Big welcome to today's guest, Corey Poirier. Yeah, kind of like a modern day Napoleon Hill.
Sir Corey Poirier.
Corey Poirier.
John Lee Doom is here. You're actually the only person that I've ever interviewed that's interviewed more people than I have. And in fact, at 3,400, you're going to take a little while for me to catch.
Corey Poirier.
He's either 420 years old or he's worked out how to maximise every second of every day to create a body of work that is hugely impressive.
Corey's just amazing.
How many of you here tonight want to make a difference in the world? Most of the room. I found myself in the same place a number of years ago. And what I realized that I had to do is I had to go out and find the people that were making a difference in the world, find out what they were doing, and emulate it. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is what I've noticed are the weeds that they pulled out of their life to make their life as such that they were able to make that difference in the world. So what I've learned, again, is that if you can find a way to pull some of these weeds from your life, and again, when I look at the high achievers I've talked to, these are the 5 most common weeds that they were able to pull from their life. If you can find a way to pull these weeds out of your life, you're going to have a much better chance of making that difference in the world that you said that you wanted to make earlier on. So what is the takeaway? It's time to start pulling the weeds. Thank you guys so much. I've interviewed 4,000 enlightened superachievers. I'd love to share my findings and what are, again, I call these timeless truths of influential leadership that I've discovered. I feel that it'll appeal to everybody in the room, and the reason is because it actually impacts all of us. So if we can figure out what these timeless traits are, what these timeless truths are, we can actually take them and incorporate them into our lives. Robbie asked me one day, he said, Corey, there's not enough selling time in the day. I need help. So I said, okay, I'm not going to give you the answer until I see what you're doing. So I said, let me observe you for a few days and I'll come back with a verdict. So it came. 2 days later, I saw what happened. Robbie picked up the phone and the customer said, Robbie, I need a copy of our lease. So Robbie hung up the phone. Yeah, she said, I'll get you right to it. That's what he's talking. Get right to it. And he hung up the phone and ran off to go do whatever he's going to do. So I said, I'm not going to say anything to him yet. So it's 9 o'clock. That's a core selling time if you're in sales. Well, at least in that business, core selling time, Joe, I think you'd agree. Even I would say maybe 8:30, but anyway, Robbie at 9 o'clock, core selling time. Told me he doesn't have selling time in the day. Off he runs. I said, okay, let's come back at lunch and see what happened to Robbie. And then I can give my verdict. So I came back and no Robbie. I was like, oh great, maybe he found it right away. But then I saw his laptop bag and all this stuff lying around. I said, Robbie's here somewhere.
One thing I can tell you about fears is they don't necessarily go away. You're always going to probably discover something outside your comfort zone. So late last year, I got invited to do a talk in Brooklyn for at-risk youth. And as we were booking the talk, they proceeded to tell me about the gang violence that was taking place near the center and all the stuff that was happening in that part of town and what I should do to watch out for that. So admittedly, this was a fear to me. It was outside my comfort zone. So what happened is, but I also looked at it and said, you know what, the people that I'm going to speak to, think of everything they've gone through that day to get there, and maybe go through every day. So I can take one for the team and go there once. But here's the cool thing. Going back to my 3 strategies I mentioned for stepping outside your comfort zone, I noticed after I did it, that the thing that made it possible were that all 3 of those strategies took place on that day. So the example is the why. What was the purpose? Well, I was raised by a single mother. And I was having an opportunity to go speak to almost every person in that room who was also raised by a single mother. And I was able to share my journey with them and hopefully inspire them by what is possible. The second part is the baby steps. So the baby steps, we actually got ourselves there earlier. So we got ourselves there earlier in the day. We got ourselves acclimatized. We went to the place. We met everybody. And that was the baby steps for me. I didn't just show up and walk in and start speaking. And then finally, the support system was my girlfriend. She came along for the journey. And she had so much excitement about this, about reaching these students, that it carried over to me. But again, these 3 things came up again. Let's say somebody cuts me off in traffic, they give me the finger, I don't shake it off well, I go to the office, I walk in, I'm having a bad day, I'm sitting in a cubicle next to somebody else,
I start snapping at them. They carry that, and you can see where the cycle goes. They even maybe the last person carries it home to their kids, and now they're fighting with the family at the supper table because they're snapping at the person. But now flip the other side. What happens? Somebody cuts me off in traffic, gives me the finger. I say, you know what? Maybe they have a sick mother at home. Maybe their wife's sick. Maybe there's something going on that's bigger than just me. And I leave it where it is. And then I go to the office still with a smile on my face, and that person asks me a question, how are you doing? Fantastic. Can you see how that might be a better end result? And how both of them are an invisible impact that actually occur like a ripple effect, whether we like it or not? So what I'm suggesting is you have a choice how you react to things. You're going to get hit with events all day, every day. You have to take a pause, that's the key thing, but you have a choice of how you react. And that reaction is going to dictate the outcome. So I think I kind of drummed this home, but just I want you to know and bear in mind, you're not selling a car, you're not selling a product, you're not even selling a service, even though the service might pay for more of your bills than that sale on the car. You're not selling a product or a service. You're selling an experience.